Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, something new for Yinz. We're talking all things food. A bunch of restaurants are opening. A few restaurants are back. There are a couple of classic Pittsburgh brands branching out. And the CityCast crew has everything you need to plan your weekend. It's October 19th, our Thursday food show. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh is talking about. I'm with CityCast's newsletter editor, Francesca DeBecco, who has been writing a brilliant roundup of Pittsburgh food news for, well over a year now.
It's hard to believe.
I know. So we thought that this would be the perfect time to switch things up on Thursdays and bring that expertise to the podcast. Francesca, I am so stoked to give you this platform.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited. You know, if you subscribe to the newsletter, you know that my Friday newsletters are packed with food news and things to do over the weekend. And I just love this opportunity to bring this to our listeners. It'll be a great way to taste the burg and, get out there and enjoy the city.
Well, speaking of delicious tastes, we thought we would keep this truly silly. What is the best thing that you have eaten this week?
Well, in the past week, I finally got to try out Love Kate Distillery in Sharpsburg. It's new, and it's actually the first LGBTQ-owned distillery in Pennsylvania. And I had a pumpkin spice latte martini. Guys, this literally tasted like pumpkin pie in a glass. It was so good. Definitely decadent, seasonal. Check it out. They have great events. I know they were doing a comedy show. The night I was there, they were having drag. So it's a great new spot in Sharpsburg.
Totally. I feel like a flavored martini feels very Y2K, which seems like on the moment, you know?
Yeah. How about you?
Mine is a little bit of a drive, but if you're willing to go north, Dented Keg Brewing in Seven Fields is like a true hidden gem. They're in a strip mall, which is weird.
Oh.
But the food and beer is fantastic. If you're going to order off the menu, I cannot recommend enough the blackened shrimp tacos. But they always have a rotating feature. It's really, really delicious. They even had an Oktoberfest the other day, like just in the parking lot.
Nice.
They set up tents, they put up hay bales everywhere, and like kids were playing cornhole. It was very cute and wholesome.
I love an unexpected spot. So if you're up there, up north, check it out.
Totally. So a smattering of food news this week. Sometimes you will notice these are a little thematic. This time I think we're a little all over the place. This week, of course, is Coffee Week here in Pittsburgh. And there's a new book celebrating a beloved coffee shop that is no longer with us, the Beehive.
Rest in peace.
I know, in the South Side. It was covered in art and had coffee and cocktails. And I think it was up for, 28 years. So it was a real Gen X haven for a long time.
Right. And there's a new book coming out. It's called Gen X Pittsburgh, The Beehive and the 90s Scene. It's written by David Rullo. That comes out on October 30th. And I think it really captures what you were talking about, Megan, just like what this meant to the community. And like you said, it was colorful, eclectic. There were murals on the wall.
Everywhere.
Right. I remember there was a bike hanging from the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And there were like diner tables with
like all different colors.
Yeah. With like literal living room style lamps, lighting your coffee or your reading. So it was cozy and hipster before hipster was even a word we used.
Absolutely. I used to work in the South Side, and I absolutely loved stopping in for. They had very wacky drinks and specials, but they had the best tomato soup and grilled cheese I have ever had in the city. Ooh. I still think about it at least once a month.
A classic comfort.
Totally. So there's a book launch party, if you're into it, on November 1st at the Tiki Lounge. Got to keep it South Side. The founders of the Beehive will be there along with the author, Scott Kramer and Steve Zumoff. That'll be 7 to 11 p.m.
Yeah, and stay tuned to our feed because you may hear more about author David Rullo and the Beehive legacy in the coming weeks.
So next up, shout out to a couple classic Pittsburgh brands and some new ideas that they're bringing our way.
Yeah, so if you know an out-of-towner who wants to sip on the nostalgic thirst quencher that is Turner's Premium Iced Tea, soon you'll be able to ship it. They're making this new iced tea powder, and pre-sales start at the end of the month.
I like that Turner's is going the way of Gatorade, you know? And then the next one, Pittsburgh Brewing Company, the makers of Icy Light, they're making spirits now?
Yeah, they have their new Iron City Distilling out in Crichton, and they use locally sourced heirloom grains to make rye whiskey and other boozy offerings, and you'll be able to get some of their spirits in the shop at the beginning of November, but by 2027, you might be able to chase your icy beer with an icy whiskey.
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm gonna be honest. Speaking of a hometown favorite, we saw this week that City Paper ranked all of the sandwiches that you can get at Sheetz. Francesca, do you have a go-to Sheetz order?
You know, I'm not really a fan of Sheetz. I'm sorry to every Pittsburgher who I will offend. I think the last time I ate it, I was in high school, and it was like I was just, playing along with all of the other people who like Sheetz, but nah, not for me.
You know, as I was looking at the menu just to refresh myself, it occurred to me it's actually really difficult to eat vegetarian at Sheetz.
You're right, actually.
At least from the made-to-order menu.
Yeah, I think I would actually have to make a sandwich with just toppings.
Sheetz, like you, it's not typically for me. I have had it many a time, of course. If I do have to get something Sheetz branded, not that I ever have to, but I have, I usually go for, I hate saying this, Schweetz blueberry cake donuts. It's the commitment to sh and z for me that makes it very difficult for me to take this brand seriously.
That's so funny. I mean, you really can't go wrong with the blueberry donut. But I'm curious, what was City Paper's best sandwich?
So apparently it is the Italian sandwich. They wrote many words about it. We will link to it in the show notes. But my favorite line is literally dead last. It says, "This is a killer sandwich. However, it's better when it's had a little time to marinate. So give yourself at least an hour before eating it if you can hold off that long." Can you just imagine ordering your Italian sandwich and just leave it in the car for an hour?
I think that defeats the purpose of gas station food, right? It's like on the go, we're on the road. I mean, I don't know. But I'm looking at a photo. Yeah, I guess it's like one of those hoagies you can stick in the fridge for a while. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it speaks to like Pittsburghers' love of Primantis too.
Yeah.
But maybe, again, not for me.
Maruchan superfans are everywhere. From the busy moms who want to deliver maximum flavor in a flash to dorm room diners who want to put some slurp in their step. There are a ton of copycats you could use. But if you want to bless your bowl, there's only one true Maruchan. Whether you choose instant lunch, ramen bowls, yakisoba, or restaurant quality gold, Maruchan is the only ramen worth obsessing over. Smiles for all. Maruchan. See what all the ramen hype is about at maruchan.com.
So this next one is a callback to our pod episode with Rick Seaback last week. We had asked him about any rites of passage that someone must complete to call themselves a Pittsburgher. And he said to have an oyster at the original Oyster House. And last week actually marked their 153rd anniversary.
My first thought on this is amazing. 153 years with any business is insane. But second, and very importantly, what were the logistics of acquiring oysters in the 1870s in Pittsburgh?
I don't want to know.
Like, how did they do that? Like, were they packed in salt? I have a lot of questions about botulism.
Was it safe? Yeah. Where did they come from? I mean, it was probably, a really a special thing for people to have.
Oh, totally. You said you looked up the price.
Yeah, so when they first opened, it cost 1 penny each per oyster. So
a lot's changed in the last 153 years.
Definitely. But kudos to them for still surviving.
For sure. And a few restaurant openings that we're really excited about. The original Pittsburgh winery closed during the pandemic, and they're back now.
Yeah, they just had a soft opening, and, it's a spot for live music events. And they actually have a wine club subscription, so you could get 3, 6, or 12 bottles.
Weren't they Pittsburgh winery before? Am I remembering correctly?
I don't know. I was confused when I saw this. I confused it with the City Winery that's in the terminal now. So, anyways, to set the record straight,
They are the original.
Yes,
That's
OG.
the new name, I think.
Yeah, the OG. Anyway, so if you want a wine subscription, it's a great place to hit up.
Absolutely. So one that has been in my feed, I think, constantly over the last week or two is the new Revolving Sushi bar
That's
on
on
the South Side.
Yeah, the South Side works, right?
Yeah, it opened, I think, mid-September. I guess it's a chain, and this is the second location in Pennsylvania. Of course, the first one is in Philly.
So whenever they say like revolving sushi bar, that means like conveyor belt style, or
I've seen that in other cities, totally. That's what I've seen in pictures. I'm really excited to try it.
yeah, definitely let us know how you like it.
But there is a full menu. Like you can get ramen, udon, fried rice. If you're not a raw fish person, or raw fish doesn't agree with you. I guess there's also a robot in house named
What?
Kirby. It's KUR-B. The Curabot. I'm probably butchering that. That brings drinks and condiments to you. The name of the place is Cura Revolving Sushi, so that's Kura. This seems totally wacky for Pittsburgh. I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely worth a visit just to get condiments,
Yeah,
soy sauce
we
from a
deserve nice
robot.
things. I'm into it.
Well, one I want to highlight, since we have unfortunately been letting go of our vegan places,
I know.
rest in peace, Onion Maiden, B52. My heart is hurting. We have a new vegan spot that opened in East Liberty this summer, but I think it's still pretty new that some folks might not know about it. So it's called Sia's Garden Grown, and it used to actually house a couple of meat-forward restaurants.
Yeah, they were barbecue. Like, was it Union Pig and Chicken there?
Yeah,
Okay.
and porked. And so I think it's just funny how now it's a destination for herbivores. Christy Graver at Pittsburgh Magazine said that she was just like really excited about the pickled cucumber and dill potato salad. That sounds amazing. I was taking a look at the menu, and I'd love to try the cauliflower muffaletta. It has lupini bean, olives, pickled vegetables, black garlic salsa verde on a toasted sesame semolina bread. That sounds amazing.
Francesca and I are always down for pickled anything.
Yes.
Speaking of a compliment to that, my pick is the North Side. Wilson's Barbecue is finally back. They were a staple of the neighborhood for such a long time. They reopened in August.
That's awesome.
Yeah, after some trouble with a fire in 2019. So same recipes, but more menu options. The North Side Chronicle did a really great feature about the restaurant and the family behind it. We'll link to that in the show notes. Before we go, we've got a bunch of events to take you into the weekend. First, of course, a few fall and Halloween ones. Tis the season, after all.
Yes. On Saturday from 12 to 8 p.m., there is the Boheme Halloween Market. That is that Boheme Market in Lawrenceville, of course. And they've got specialty vendors, vintage costumes, spooky tunes, and tricks and treats. It'll be a lot of fun, and that's totally free.
I am looking forward to Pigtoberfest, Saturday from 12 to 4. They've got an entire pig roast, but also drinks and raffles and vendors. That's with the Troy Hill Citizens Park. Make sure that you bring your own lawn chair. Again, totally free.
Yeah. You know what I love about this one is it's kind of a callback to Rialto Street in Troy Hill, famously called Pig Hill, when pigs were actually herded up the hill from Hers Island stockyards.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a slaughterhouse down in Spring Garden. So
I forgot about that.
It's kind of an interesting history there, but it looks like
I
a lot
wondered
of
why
fun.
Troy Hill was having a pig roast of all places. That makes more sense now.
Yeah, and if you want to go up the river, there's a fun event in Verona at the 10.7 Marina. They're having a Halloween party celebrating mythical, magical, and legendary creatures of mythology. There will be pizza, wine, beer, and a costume contest. That's from 5 to 10:30 p.m. on Saturday.
And then last up from me, I love this event every year in the Strip District, the Monster Pumpkin Festival.
Oh my gosh.
It's Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 6 both days. They are going to have a 2,400-pound gourd drop. And watch it explode, of course. Plus a bunch of other pumpkin fun. It's always in the stacks at 3 Crossings, and they really do it up big. If you are a person who likes to take pictures in front of pumpkins and want to be in the city, this is the event for you.
How do they even grow a 2,000-pound gourd, and how do they transport it? This is
it's on a flatbed. I've seen it go through town before. There's a bunch of other fun events. We'll link, in particular, a little roundup we found in Next Pittsburgh. They did a great job of sharing some Halloween and autumnal events for yinz.
And as always, head to the Friday Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. I've got a full events calendar for you. There will be events for everyone.
And every day, too. It's not just her Thursday and Friday newsletters. You can find those Monday to Friday every time.
Yes.
To close us out, here's where you might spot a CityCaster this weekend. Newsletter editor Francesca DeBecco.
Yeah, on Saturday and Sunday, Sugar Spell Scoops and Black Hat Pizza are having a Halloween party from 3 to 9 p.m. There will be pizza, delicious baked goods, spooky sundaes, floats, and lots of creepy pints. If you don't know, Sugar Spell Scoops is totally vegan, and I've tried to get Black Hat Pizza multiple times in the city, and they've sold out, so I'm really excited to try this.
Lead producer Mallory Falk.
So I have Francesca to thank for my weekend plans. She mentioned last week on the show that right now is Row House of Horrors time at Row House Cinema in Lawrenceville, where they're screening classic scary movies all throughout the month of October. So I went ahead and got my tickets to see The Nightmare Before Christmas this weekend. I'm really excited to catch it on the big screen for the first time since the early 90s. So that is where I will be.
Audio producer Sophia Lowe.
So this weekend, I'm excited for Phipps's Fall Flower Show, Hometown Harvest. This is at their conservatory in Oakland. This show runs through October 29th, so you have about a week left to see it, and tickets are $21.95. The website recommends buying tickets in advance, and I'm really pumped to see some chrysanthemums and honeybees flying around. I love the Phipps, but haven't been to the fall show before. I went in the spring and they were playing Animal Crossing lo-fi music, so I like to pretend I'm a villager bopping around my island looking at all the seasonal decor.
And me, I'm excited about the Nationality Room tours for Halloween. They're happening Friday and Saturday from 6 to 7 p.m. Somehow I have still never been to these on the days that they were actually open, but you can hear haunted stories from different cultures in the Cathedral of Learning, but you got to RSVP in advance. It's $10 for adults, $6 for kids and students, and that's in Oakland. That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Remember, you can get food news like this and so much more in our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter delivered right to your inbox every weekday at 6 a.m. You can subscribe and find these stories and more online at pittsburgh.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Happy noshing, everyone.
Delicious baked goods.
Baked goods.